You're listening to Puma Podcast.
But I think art still has so much power because it's a tool to shape your identity. Of course, capture history and moments of in time and then in life. But I think it's also a more powerful tool compared to, for example, compared to a report of 100 pages, right? Which is so boring. You cannot relate.
Yeah.
But art, it can move you, it can inspire you, it can make you think. Normally when I give classes to students and I talk about art, the difference between art and design, I think that art really has not really give answers, but it has to make you think and ask questions.
That's
So
right.
when you look at something, it doesn't have to be nice. It can be very questionable art, right? But as long as it makes you think and it asks you some questions, I think that's the best, and then mission achieved.
Art surfaces in many forms: on walls, through music, on stage, and sometimes even in moments of struggle. For some, it's a way to heal. For others, it's a way to make the world see what facts alone cannot convey. At Maki+Fiesta 2.0, amidst the energy of students, artists, and curious festival goers, Ukrainian artist Arthur Tselishchev shared his work, reflecting on the ongoing war in his home country and how art can transform grief, anger, and hope into something that speaks across borders. In this live conversation, we explore how creativity, storytelling, and empathy collide, how a single canvas can become a powerful act of resistance, education, and solidarity.
I'm just gonna get a little backgrounder from him before we talk more about his art, because when we do I might get carried away. So how long have you been staying in the Philippines, and what's really your background? Did you become an accidental artist, or
Yeah,
did you really?
so it's been a while. I mean, I'm here for almost a decade in the Philippines. The story was interesting. I was working all around the world, started from the States, New York, then Singapore, Korea, Taiwan, Thailand, and then Philippines was just one of the countries. I was just gonna come here for a few months to work on the contract. But then I fell in love with the country, and then I just decided to stay, and I realized I'm pretty much settled here. And then I made it my home.
So right now, I'd like to talk about Arthur's art. I wasn't able to, be honest, attend his show, but I saw your artwork, and it's mostly focusing not just on the cultural, but rather the state of Ukraine right now with all the still ongoing war. It's been some time. To be honest, for the first few months, for the first year, I was really invested in it. And then we get this fatigue. Everybody gets fatigued and we tend to look away. Now, when you showed your art, it's like, come here, look, don't look away. It's still happening. I'm pretty sure it's intentional, but how have you found people responding to your art?
Yeah, you're right. It's been 3 years and a half. Nobody expected to be that long. But my mission wasn't really to tell people, come and look. That was like my remedy, my healing through art.
Yeah.
I felt very guilty to be here in the beginning because, seeing what's happening back home, it's mentally hard. I'm not complaining, of course. I'm very happy and honored to be here again. But then I just realized that with the help of my parents, my family, they were able to kind of convince me that everybody has its own mission.
That's true.
And then probably have a purpose here, and then just have to do what you have to do, and then do what you do best. In my case, that was art, and I was able to produce some paintings. Wala lang. I mean, was no really reason without thinking what for. It was like my escape
Yeah.
and my way of to distract myself from
Yeah.
what's happening. But then after all, my friends, very supportive friends, they just kind of tried to push me to some new ideas. And they told me, let's make an exhibit and let's generate funds for Ukraine because I'm sure you guys need help. And then there are so many volunteers back there. They need support. And then I said, yeah, definitely. That's a great idea because at least I can be useful and productive and do something I can really do. Then I started to paint nonstop. I had 2 months to prepare for the exhibit. That was in 2022. That was like 3 months or 4 months after the war started, the full-scale invasion. And then after this, it just became like a puzzle. I was just not really thinking without analyzing much. I was just pouring everything. Like all my inspiration was just on the canvas. So It's a bit challenging because, again, it's like very sensitive topic. It's heavy and it's hard, like with your AirPods, with the news all nonstop, praying for your family every time. But at the same time, I guess it helped me too. So then we just made this exhibit with the help of my friends. Then 2 other artists decided to contribute last minute. Jerome Lorico is a fashion designer. He made a sculpture with medical cast, like depicting people with struggling poses, being under attacks. So it was very moving and symbolic. Another artist, Carlo Mecate, he provided his paintings, very moody art, acrylic paintings, because he wanted to also be part of this. So I was very inspired by all of this. People just come together and they just want to help. And then, of course, the exhibit, you see all of my friends, random people who never knew your name, right? They just come and see your paintings and they get some education, I guess, get some inspiration. And then after all, you realize, oh, wow, the paintings is not really, as I thought before, just can be hang on the wall and be pretty. And maybe like cover something, like some faults on the walls, right? I just realized paintings can save someone's life, make the life longer, or make it lighter. And then I realized, okay, probably that's my purpose at this moment, and I just have to stick to that.
Yeah, I find that really it resonates with me because there are lots of things we do in life that we think we're just doing for ourselves, and we do start with that. And then when our emotions, when our thoughts come out, somehow we don't know, but it connects in the future to something far greater than that. Of course, for us, it's personal, but then it touches other people in ways that you didn't know it will touch. And again, as I said, it has become a way, as your parents said, you have a purpose. And I guess it's become a way to shine a light in what's still continually happening in Ukraine. What I want to know, though, is now that it looks like everybody's like looking to Gaza and the things that are happening there, which is like equally heartbreaking. How do you feel about the way that people has like pretty much, of course we see it in the news, but then it's not being talked about as much, but for you it's real, more so than it is for other people. How do you feel about that?
Yes, okay. It's not exactly real for me because I'm still being here in the paradise. It's amazing place, right? It's so far. But I totally agree with the thing that it faded from the news, from the headlines, because people get tired of it. It's like attention span really fast now, especially like last few years. And you can't compete with this.
Yeah.
What you have to do, I guess, make people interested in different ways. And I think culture and art is really powerful tool to shape the identity, culture, history, fight the propaganda in many means. I mean, it doesn't have to be paintings. You know, it can be poetry, can be dance, festivals, can be just talks like this.
Yeah.
Everything works if it's really intentional and if it's for the good will on purpose. But what I really think needs to be done is, I guess, educating more.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally agree that people being far away from places like this, they wouldn't be really interested. But despite of that, I see so much similarities, especially here in the Philippines with Ukraine, because we have very similar values, and those values are family.
Yes.
That's why maybe I feel comfortable here, because we have similar mentality in a way. So I was really amazed how Filipinos are helpful and supportive, despite of the fact that it's different continent. Like you have no relations to this, right?
Yeah.
But I guess because we have similar mentality, religion, the way of living life, and the values like families, I think that really what unites us, and like we find common ground, and that's why it's easier to talk to people. I find it really easy for me, like convincing all my friends, especially not really convincing, but educating them about what's happening, because so many of them, they had like, double vision, meaning like, it's nothing is certain, nothing is black and white. This is true, right?
Yeah.
Many families even in Ukraine are divided. Many of our relatives some are from Russia, some from Ukraine.
Yeah.
We all
that's
mixed,
hard. Yeah.
like in our DNA, it's really like that. But again, history repeats itself. It's not the first time Ukraine is being under so much pressure again. Again, what you have to do is just like do what you can do best, and then hope for the best as well. And I'm really hopeful that Ukraine will finally find peace.
Yes, I hope so.
It will have victory, hopefully soon, and that everybody will just immerse in this unique culture again, and hopefully we'll forget about what's been really happening for the last 3 years.
And now with the age of disinformation, I think art really has a place in that because it's you just can't convince people with facts these days. Not everyone, but a lot of people, because we are emotional creatures.
Yes.
But I just suddenly had an epiphany that, like, if I do show your art or people do see your art and they're like, okay, he doesn't live there, but this is the truth for his people. You feel the emotion through the art. It is a way of educating and fighting disinformation without really getting on a head-on argument, which really usually results in nothing. So I just want to really, maybe from me, tell you that it heartens me, and I hope it also inspires you to keep on doing what you're doing, because aside from the healing and aside from reaching out to people, I really do think that in the way that you present your art, it does help your people, your country to get the stories across.
Absolutely, of course. It's one of the many ways you can do something. For me, it's art, and I'm blessed with this skill, I would say. But you're totally right. Some people are really blindsided or brainwashed. They just don't know any better. And I can't really blame them because some of them are maybe lazy to learn. Some of them really got in the situation when they got influenced by other people. You can't blame that. I mean, now so much of deep fakes in this internet, right? And then especially people, older generation, they wouldn't tell which one is which, right? Like
Exactly.
Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, everything is distorted now. Even I sometimes I catch myself like,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it true? I mean, I'm very suspicious about everything now. I don't trust
Yeah.
anything. So normally when I see something nice, I was like, is this AI or not?
Yeah.
So things like this you have to distinguish. But I think art still has so much power because it's a tool to shape your identity. Of course, capture history and moments in time and in life. But I think it's also more powerful tool compared to, for example, report of 100 pages, right? Which
Yeah,
is so
yeah.
boring. You cannot relate.
Yeah.
But art, it can move you, it can inspire you, it can make you think. Normally, when I give classes to students and I talk about art, the difference between art and design, I think that art really has not really give answers, but it has to make you think and ask questions.
That's
So
right.
when you look at something, it doesn't have to be nice. It can be very questionable art, right? But as long as it makes you think and it asks you some questions, I think that's the best, and then mission achieved.
That's right. Anyway, so I think that's all for today. I really wish you the best, and I'm so glad to meet you. So again, this is Hannah, and I'm with Arthur. I hope, guys, that somehow it has inspired you, and we're gonna leave his socials somewhere here or here and in the show notes. So please do check out his work and let us continue to inform us. Though we appreciate his art, it would also be great if we continue to educate ourselves with what's happening around us and to step out of our comfort zones so that we can care more about how others are and what we can do for each other, this community.
Maraming salamat po. Thanks a lot for having me, and Slava Ukraini.
That's it for today. Thank you to Arthur Tselishchev for sharing his art and perspective, and to the Embassy of Ukraine for introducing him to Maki+Fiesta 2.0. Once again, I'm Hannah Tasarra. This episode was engineered by Anthony Tobias with Chemar Tordesillas as our editor-at-large. If you enjoy the way we do conversations, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time.